Hey everyone, welcome to a brand new season of Mind Your Business, a podcast hosted by the credit SIG of ISTE NITK. I am Abhigyan Pathak and I would be the host for today's session. My guest today is Miss Palakh Khanna. Miss Palakh is a 19-year-old social entrepreneur with over 35,000 followers on LinkedIn and is one of India's 20 under 20 recognized personalities. A regional officer of the Asia Pacific region, a Pride of the Nation Award winner, a United Nations Millennium Fellow, and the co-organizer of the Delhi Smart Protein Project. Being a socially aware individual, Palakh has always acted towards all things sustainable and promotes a more eco-friendly lifestyle. She is a renowned social entrepreneur and CEO of Break the Ice, and the list goes on and on. Ms. Palakh, we are very glad to have you on board with us.
Thank you so much. I am looking forward to the entire conversation. And yes, thank you for that introduction.
Yeah. So what are some of the projects you're working on right now?
In terms of currently, I am working on various initiatives. All of them are related to social impact in some way or the other. So I have my own organization. It's called Break the Ice, where we try to literally break the ice about taboo topics and stigmatized topics and anything that society doesn't talk about. We cover it there. We are working with 25, we've reached out to 25,000 people and we're working with 100 members in the team across 10 plus countries to break that ice. In terms of other initiatives, I'm a part of, you mentioned, co-organizer of the Delhi Smart Protein Project. So we are working towards bringing sustainability in food. So the Delhi Smart Protein Project, what we are doing is we're working under Good Food Institute India, and we're trying to bring sustainability in food by bringing in plant-based meat. So the meat we consume is animal meat, and it harms the animals, it harms the environment. What we are trying to bring is plant-based meat to India. So that's another initiative we are working on. And yeah, I think I'm working on all things sustainable and social impact. I'm also a regional officer for Asia Pacific. And yes, I think the initiatives are a lot, but I think these are the three main ones that I'm working on.
Oh, that's brilliant. It's something that many young people don't, they're not really involved in. So what made you realize that entrepreneurship, or more particularly social entrepreneurship, is the way to go?
Okay, I think that's a great question. When I think about what I wanted to do in my life, I was honestly, even now, I have those moments of existential crisis where I'm like, what am I supposed to do? But I've always stayed consistent with the idea that I do want to create social change. And there was just this one incident in my life where I realized, okay, maybe becoming an entrepreneur and focusing on social impact may completely, bring together my mission and my purpose in life. That is what I thought of. So I think social entrepreneurship came into the picture through that, because I wanted to combine impact with being an entrepreneur. So when I got to know that there is a term like that, I thought, why not explore that?
Yeah, that is not term even I have been aware of much, if I'm being honest. So I think you're doing a bachelor's in English honors right now.
Yes, I am.
And now you have achieved some really significant milestones in the business world. And that is a very rare combination. So how do you go on about, starting these ventures? Could you, speak more on that?
Okay, so that's what I was talking about in the previous question. Basically, from the time that I was very young, I always said I want to create change. I've told this to so many people now that I remember the entire thing also. But boards happened. I was the huge nerd who wanted to get marks, and I completely forgot about that social purpose that I had. And it was during the pandemic that I just overheard this conversation between my mom and my domestic help had her periods at our place. She was shying away from asking for pads. And I was like, okay, we live in the 21st century. Why are we pushing forward these stigmas? And by we, I meant urban educated people. And I just told my mom, you know what? I want to create a platform where we talk about all things which are not talked about. So that is how the venture came into the picture. And then I just expanded Break the Ice to more taboos, mental health, menstruation, gender equality, and everything that society won't take action about, also, even climate change to a great extent. So I think that is how it all started.
Yeah, I think we have all been in that phase where we are just nerds and worried about marks and we have no social life.
Yes.
So I think you are the CEO of an organization, Break the Ice, right? Your own organization. So what are some of the key entrepreneurial lessons that you have learned from that venture?
Okay. I think the biggest lesson I learned was that even if there isn't an industry for the thing that you want to talk about. I think if you're passionate enough about it, you'll be able to create your own space in it. I won't say Break the Ice has done wonders, is leading or something, but I think for talking about things which are not talked about, we've been able to create our own community. So I think that is one of the biggest things I learned, because when I was thinking of opening Break the Ice, I thought, which industry is this falling into? Is this social impact? Is this, because there is no taboo industry, so to say, because that is exactly what taboo is. We don't talk about them.
Yeah.
So I thought, I'm just exploring a random industry, maybe non-existential. Will this even do anything? Maybe it just fails within the next 10 days and I get demotivated and I remove it. So I think one of the biggest lessons I learned was, even if your idea is drastically not related to any existing leading industry, I think give it a shot. What if it turns out to be, you become the leader of that industry? So I think that is one lesson that I learned.
No, that's a brilliant point, because even if you change even one person, that's a big thing. So, the amount of people you have changed, it's really phenomenal. Okay, not only just Break the Ice, you're a part of multiple organizations. So how did you what skills were you able to develop that favored a business environment, dealing with all these multiple ventures?
Okay, so I think I would be very honest. I've tried to develop all the skills. I don't think I had good communication skills initially. I have been the biggest introvert throughout my life. So even when I was giving interviews, even when I was just exploring opportunities, I thought I would just not be able to answer well. I would just get nervous. And I think I've developed those skills by exploring a lot of organizations. I'm a good multitasker. That is one skill I have. I'm able to multitask pretty well, but I did not have the communication skills. And I think through working with different organizations, international included, I've just tried to become a team manager. I've tried to become a better communicator in everything I do. Even when I'm writing on LinkedIn, I'm trying to learn from other people also and how to actually communicate well. So I think that is one thing that I've been improving at, and also I want to stick to it as a good skill. So yes.
And there's always scope for improvement there. Nobody is perfect.
Yes.
So, okay, one more thing I really wanted to ask you about this, since you have been, multiple organizations, you have so many roles. How do you manage your time in that? Because time management is so critical.
Okay, so again, I think I'm a good multitasker, but in terms of time management, I have my moments where I'm like, I just, I have my own breakdowns where I'm like, I have so much to do. How am I going to do it? Because I do have college as well. So I'm a full time college student with all the other things at side hustles, you would say. I think side roles, more like. But I've just tried to manage my time through to do list. I think they do wonders for me. I don't know how many people relate to do lists, but I just usually have practical daily to-do list. And I say practical because I won't sleep until those to-do lists get completed. So I make them in a way where I know that I can achieve everything on that to-do list, so that if I'm working till 3 a.m. to complete that to-do list, at least it's realistic enough. So I think that does very well for me. I usually just, when you have daily to-do list, you're able to do a lot throughout the week. So that
Hmm.
is one of my small strategies to time management.
Yeah, you have something in front of you, so you can formulate your way through it, the whole pathway. Okay, you are an India 20 under 20 personality and Pride of the Nation award winner, and that's like a huge thing. How do you feel about it?
I mean, I'm smiling throughout. I think it has been a great feeling to be recognized. Honestly, I'm an extremely ambitious person. So when I get recognitions like this, I'm like, oh my God, I have done something to even get recognized. And Pride of Nation was a huge deal. I mean, India 20 under 20 was a brilliant title. And I just thought it brings more responsibility, honestly. I mean, one side of it is being very happy and honored to get it, and even gratitude, but at the other it's like, okay, now you have that title, you have to be more focused towards also helping and creating more impact, so that people are actually able to learn from you, because at the end of the day it brings more responsibility to your to your name and to that title as well. So I think it's good, it's a good feeling, but again I push myself to just create more change.
Yeah, with great power comes great responsibility.
Yes, exactly. That's the exact quote I was thinking of.
So, I think many of us can relate to the advice you have to share being a young entrepreneur. What are some of the
Mhm.
misconceptions that teens and younger adults have about the business world, you would say?
I think the number one thing is regarding the age stigma. I would always say this because I think everyone amongst the youth can relate to this. When you say you're a youth entrepreneur, a lot of people take you lightly, which is good in terms of just keeping you motivated to prove yourself, but also in some way a little bit demotivating because you're like, age should not be equal to experience or even wisdom for that matter. You can develop skills to become a better entrepreneur even at 19, even at 20. It's about how passionate you are about the cause. So I think that has been one of the biggest misconceptions I've seen. It's going genuinely, it is changing for the better, but I think that is one of the biggest ones I even see on LinkedIn. When you write your age, a lot of people take you a little less seriously because they feel, okay, they're a little confused, they're still studying, maybe this is their side project, and they don't realize maybe we want it to be a full-time project, but we are still working on it behind the scenes. So I think, yeah, age is the factor which I feel is a misconception, and it can improve, it is definitely improving.
Okay, so since you mentioned LinkedIn, being a keen
Mhm.
follower of your LinkedIn profile and account, I have observed the wide network and connections you have made. How important is networking and developing strong communication or soft skills in today's world?
I think it's extremely important. I think it's almost underrated. At this point, people are talking about networking. It's almost becoming a buzzword, but it's that kind of a buzzword which would fade away very instantly without actually creating an impact unless you understand its importance. So, whenever I meet any college student in networking events, I've always praised them honestly because for me, I'm not going as a student, I usually go as an entrepreneur. So, but when I see students come in, I feel like they're making the most out of it because I mean, it can drastically create a different life for you. When you're networking with people, you'll realize how many opportunities you will get which you could have never imagined about. So whenever I go to networking events, I just not only learn from people or I get opportunities, I've also like understood how people market themselves, which is a great skill which no course or nothing would actually teach you. So I think networking is very important for your personality development and to also get opportunities, honestly.
Yeah, new people, new experiences, new ideas. It's very important.
Mhm.
Another thing related to your LinkedIn profile is like, something that I'm really seeing today is that, your personal branding. You have made your own personal brand, your own presence. So how important is it, to make your own personal brand in your early 20s? That's, really young. That's really quick.
Mhm. I think it's extremely important. Again, following up from the networking question, I think having a personal brand and then networking is even better. Because when you say that you have a presence online and now you want to meet people offline, it's almost as if the networking effect would be better. People would be like, oh, maybe I haven't followed you, I think we can collaborate in this way. When you have a personal brand, and I think when you have a personal brand, it's almost as if people want to know more about you, and when that happens, you not only get opportunities, you meet like so many different people. I've met mentors who I could never imagine even writing to. I've met them. So I've realized that, as soon as you start, I think it will be much better. And I'm also obviously always improving, trying to improve, trying to juggle with LinkedIn, content, college, and a lot of things. But I think if you have your mind in it, I think you should go for it. LinkedIn should be the thing that college students are taught about, and personal branding as well. Because whether you're a job giver or a job taker, like whether you just want to get into a 9 to 5 or you just want to open a business, for both, building a personal brand becomes very important. If you're an entrepreneur, you will build your community to actually sell your product services. You'll get your investors, you'll get your mentors. If you're someone who's looking for a job, you might just get referred. Your interviewer might just know you. So I think anyway and every way, your personal brand might help you in ways that you could never imagine about. So I think, and if you develop it at a initial stage, I think you'll also get over your mistakes very quickly, and you will build a solid base to that job or to your startup being the next big startup. So yes.
And also, I think, give you that confidence, and it'll give you that confidence and build your personality. And, that would really go in a long
Absolutely.
way.
Mhm.
Okay. Since you mentioned, college students should be knowing all of this, and we are,
Mhm.
NITK, it's an engineering college. So, and our audience would also be engineers, future engineers. So, we do have an undying passion for business. Everyone wants to get into this field today and promote, like you're saying, a sustainable lifestyle, because these are all very in things in today's world. Everyone's talking about sustainability and climate change, as you mentioned before, eco world. So you have transitioned into the business orbit. So what would be your advice to us, to all of us engineers watching you?
Mhm. I think the only advice I always give is, because I am like the same age. Like whoever is listening to this, guys, we're of the same age. And getting advice from me would be very, very serious advice rather than just a quote. I think you just need to get started. I procrastinated for like 7, 8 years. And then that one moment with my domestic help and my mom kind of just told me, what am I doing? I need to stop and like focus on things which matter to me. And I just have that advice always, that just start. You'll figure out things later. It might get messy, but you will never regret starting, and starting right now. And when we are all like young and we're just 19, 20, 21 ish, I think we can explore a lot of things very, very differently, and we can bring that different perspective to everything we do. So I think the only advice is just start and get out of your comfort zone. I have made those mistakes. I don't think anybody else should. I've been the biggest introvert throughout my life. And the moment I stepped out of my comfort zone, which was literally opening break days, I was constantly thinking, I'm such an introvert. I don't even talk about my feelings. How will I talk about things which are not talked about? And I just thought, let's just put aside the self-doubt and just give it a shot. We'll figure out everything on the go. So I think, yeah, just get started and get out of your comfort zone.
Yes, you are absolutely right, Debbie. Even many people go through this, being an introvert or not being confident enough. But unless you test yourself, you don't really know who you are. Like, you don't know what mistakes. You have to make a mistake. Failure is a stepping stone towards success, as they say. So
Absolutely.
I think many of our questions have been answered over here, and it has been a brilliant talking to you. And actually brings us an end towards the podcast today. Thank you so much for your valuable time. I really hope our audience got to learn a lot from you.
Thank you so much for having me. And I'm just looking forward to staying connected with everyone. Like if they come on LinkedIn and they say, we heard your podcast and we came to like build a LinkedIn profile, that will be success for me. I'm pretty
Okay.
active on the platform, and I love to help anybody and everybody for business, entrepreneurship, or just LinkedIn. So, yes.
Okay. That's brilliant. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for listening to the IST Credit Business Podcast. We shall catch you in the next episode. Until then, mind your business. Thank you.